Okie dokie. Right, so safaris in cemeteries. We've got a new TikTok sensation of people going around, well, not people, one person going around cemeteries and whatever. Look, joined by Jono Namara, who is a cemetery
Jono Namara, who is a cemetery safariist.
Yes, you've got
is
it.
That right?
Well, Jono Namara, yeah,
okay.
and I do run a TikTok series called Cemetery Safari.
Oh, you do?
I do.
It's fantastic, by the way.
So
and you know whose street it is right up?
Whose?
His street.
Oh yeah,
so thanks for having me on.
I used to be an altar boy at funerals, so I've been to large numbers of funerals, and also I like graveyards, and I'll tell you why I like graveyards, because they are one of the places where ordinary people get to make their own memorial to their own family members. So most people who die, remember, don't get a big statue, don't get a fountain, don't get a painting in the Royal Society, but what they do get is they get a small plaque or a headstone, if they're very lucky, made to the highest specifications that their family can muster. And I think that is a beautiful thing. And the thing is with all of it, you know, the people in the graveyard are not evil, they're just dead. That's
true. It's holy ground, so to speak. So hopefully they're at rest, which is always a good thing. Because obviously one of the questions I get a lot is, do I ever, see any apparitions or any ghosts?
And do you?
Not inside a cemetery. I have on the outside walking in New York. There's a cemetery called Hollywood Cemetery.
There is indeed, absolutely.
Have you been there?
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. So we're all tapophiles here.
There you go.
Which is obviously the idea of, liking cemeteries
It's
for
called
aesthetic
a
value.
tapophile.
Tapophiles.
A tapophile.
Yeah, we can tap into that.
I tap in. Oh, look at you.
Yeah,
very good.
I like that. I'm going to write that down.
A tapophile. It's very good. So dead interesting, obviously.
Very good. True.
What got you started? Because you used to be in a Japanese boy band, didn't you?
Well, you have done your research.
I know this stuff. I know my Japanese boy bands.
Well, of course, yeah, absolutely. I'm now retired as a Japanese pop star.
Or as a boy band member.
As a boy band member. I didn't say about pop star.
Because you're not boy
too far.
enough
now. Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, I've gone boy man.
Yeah.
Not keen on that. Actually, it was walking around Pellisher Cemetery in Paris. One of my favourite people of all time, Oscar Wilde.
Yes.
I went to visit his grave.
And what did he say?
Well, he said a lot of things in life, but there's an urban legend by which if you kiss his grave and run around it 3 times, you have the best sex in Paris you'll ever have.
Is that what happened?
Is it true?
Well, hold the thought.
Oh, you see, he had us then.
So many people did that the lipstick marks, men and women, eroded the limestone, that they've now had to put up a perspex glass around it to protect the gravestone.
Like a limestone
so now
cowboy.
you can't
That's
kiss
what happened.
But there is a fake grave of Oscar Wilde in London, isn't there? Just off the Strand.
That's right. Yeah, that's
probably not
Maggie
Hambling. Sex in Paris.
Maggie Hambling. It's a sculpture, and
I don't know. Run round it, get on the Eurostar.
Well, that's the idea. Who needs to get on the Eurostar? Yeah, that's next to Charing Cross, but actually that gets vandalised quite a lot. Actually, people
does it?
aren't a big fan of that Oscar Wilde sculpture.
Why?
They think it's ugly.
Oh.
It is quite ugly.
Snakes are coming out of it.
Well, snakes are good. When Methuselah, when that sort of stuff, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
but you didn't finish the story about the sex, and how did that come about? And was it true?
Right. Well, there's an urban legend, but that was the first piece of camera I did. I just happened to be wandering around Pellisher Cemetery as one does, and I thought, I'm going to film this.
Yeah. And then it took off.
From then on in, my cemetery safari began, and I'm still.
So who's your favourite? Who's your favourite grave?
But that's a really good question. Thank you so much. There's so many, but I love the Brompton time-travelling tomb of a lady from the 18th century, and apparently we've lost the key now, so we can't actually access and enter the tomb, but apparently it either time travels one back to another period,
right,
or it links you as a portal to one of the other magnificent 7 cemeteries of London.
Oh, glorious.
So
does
they think
that
it's a
actually
time
work?
travel portal?
I don't know yet. We need to find the key.
And then go round Oscar Wilde 3 times, and you're gonna
well, have sex and then time travel.
I love it.
Then go back round the.
So what other place have you been to?
Oh well, I'm really across London essentially. So I did one at Brookwood Cemetery a couple of days ago, and I was talking about the Necropolis Railway, which essentially started in the mid-1800s, and they needed to have new cemetery burial grounds outside of London because obviously the ones in the existing graveyards were overfilled to capacity and were actually causing a lot of severe health problems, and people were actually dying because of that. So they invented the Necropolis Railway, which went from...
Necropolis Railway, fantastic stuff. Where did it go from?
Waterloo to Brookwood Cemetery, which is in Surrey. So I took a trip there. It's also where John Singer Sargent is buried as well, so obviously great Edwardian painter.
Yes.
was brilliant. I got a little bit lost though because it is the largest burial ground in the UK and was once the world, but I think we've been overtaken now.
It's amazing actually. It's sad. I had a friend of mine who died recently, and they wanted to put his ashes onto his family's grave, but of course the grave had been taken over by the local council and given away from the church. So what happens is if a church abandons a graveyard for I think it's 5 years, the local council takes it over, but they tend not to allow them to be altered in any way because by that time they're full. Anyway, we just turned up and poured the blood against the witches.
No one's going to complain, really, are they? Let's be honest.
And do you get any pushback then from people? Do people object to the fact you're going around these cemeteries?
No, I think people generally love it, actually. Well, hopefully. I mean, TikTok seems to be doing quite well for cemetery safari.
Well, I like the clown one.
Yes.
Where you can dance on the grave.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
Dance on the grave.
So they've got this grave, like a coffin-shaped...
Yes.
What would you say it was? Like a...
It's shaped like a coffin.
But
and it's a
you can
xylophone.
stand on it.
It's a xylophone.
Oh,
So it's an art piece by a person called Henry Crocatis. It was designed about 12 years ago.
Right.
And it's in honour of Joey Grimaldi.
Fantastic.
Well, yeah, Joey Grimaldi. So
fantastic
stuff. Angel, next to Angel Station.
And he doesn't mind people dancing on his grave, is that what you're saying?
Technically, it's not his grave. It's an art structure piece.
Okay.
Slash musical
I was going
instrument.
to say,
You can have a dance.
cheek.
Yeah.
You're dancing on someone's
You can have a
grave.
dance macabre.
I think we've got a clip of that. Let's take it
have a
away.
look.
Cheers, thanks.
Oh, it's a random clip. It's
Behind
not
me lay the grave of the great 19th century circus performer Andrew de Croo, here at Kensal Green Cemetery in London. De Croo was renowned for his daredevil horse riding stunts, some of which are still performed to this day. But ever the showman in real life, he is still remembered as one in death. This Greco-Egyptian inspired mausoleum, originally designed for de Croo's wife, is one of the largest and most decorated in the cemetery. Condemned in 1856 as a piece of ponderous coxcombry, the mausoleum features a beehive, various mourners, and the masks of comedy and tragedy. So if you're ever in the area, roll up and come and pay your respects to Mr. de Croo.
It's so good. They're all like that. They're very good at it.
Very sweet. Thank you for looking at them. Thank you for watching.
Plug your TikTok.
Okay, so it's called
for us.
At Cemetery Safari.
There we go.
Easy.
Fantastic.
Easily found. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well done.
Thank you.
Cool. Can I just very quickly ask about the box that we can't open? What's that about?
So that's Joanna Southcott.
Right.
Essentially, there's a box that she left. She was a famous sort of, I don't know, you could say mind reader
All right.
of her age.
And she
Dickens
said
is very
you can't
involved in
open
that.
the box unless
You've got 28 bishops of the Church of England present, and they need to sit down and really talk about if they want to open the box, and also it has to be at the time of a national emergency.
Isn't this great fun?
I love it.
was like,
we should get 20. We should get them to go round Oscar Wilde's
Do you think
thing
we could
3
do
times.
it?
I think
We've
we
not even got
Let's all
enough time
go.
to chat to you any longer. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, though, Jono. Thank you very much for coming in. We'll be
for having
talking more about you, Les,
Thanks, Jono.
and about women who've never, ever had a boyfriend.